right, welcome everybody. This is Charles and Dirk coming to you live on the Norwegian Cruise Line Latitudes members page on Facebook. Hope you all are doing well. And as you know, I'm just returned from my trip on the Norwegian Dawn from New York City to the Bahamas and Florida. Had a great time. And Dirk, how have you been? We haven't spoken in a little while.
Well, I've been great. I missed you like crazy, Checked every day, made sure you're okay.
How did you survive without me, Dirk?
It was tough. It was tough. I had to see my doctor and that special pills to calm me down. So thank God I'm off the pills now. So
That's good. Good to hear.
I prayed for you every morning.
Thank you, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen,
yes.
What you're watching is a sunrise that I took off my balcony on the Norwegian Dawn this past week. And it was a beautiful scene. I just set up my phone. I had a little tripod that I bravely secured to the railing because I was so worried the thing was going to fall overboard when I was taking this video. But luckily it didn't, and I was able to capture a really beautiful sunrise. And the weather was kind of strange because it was so humid, Dirk. And it was a type of weather. This happened to be off the tropics. This particular video that you're watching happened to be off the coast of Florida, and they have these storms that blow in and blow out. And so the storm had just ended, and I was so worried I wasn't going to be able to catch the sunrise because of the clouds. But it worked out very well, and I posted this video almost as soon as I got to Florida. I uploaded this video, and it got such tremendous reaction in the group, Dirk. I don't know if you saw it. I think you did. I think I saw that you liked it, but it was like it got like 12,000 views in the group, which was really nice to see. And it really was nice. And I have some more videos for everybody. I got a lot of pictures and videos and stuff that we're going to be going through in just a few minutes. And but I can't get enough of this video, ladies and gentlemen. I got some cool stuff, and we'll go over the Dawn and maybe some of my suggestions about the Dawn, and maybe some of the mistakes I made, and talk about some of my experiences on the ship. So it was a wonderful time. Let me just start by saying I'm a Norwegian fan, as you know. I've always been a Norwegian fan from my first cruise. And so I've been on a bunch of cruises, and each one you can't help to but compare, right, Dirk? When you go on one ship and you have one experience, and then you go on another ship and have another experience, you can't help but compare the two. I paused the video by accident, ladies and gentlemen. It's not your screen, so I just restarted it up again. You can't help but compare the experiences and the crew, and even from years back to what the present situation on Norwegian is. And I can say without a doubt, Dirk, that the consistency in the crew, their excellent performance, is a constant on all the ships and on all the trips that I've made. I don't know if you've experienced the same, but like I said, this is coming from someone who's a Norwegian fan. I started this group, almost 3 years ago, and Dirk joined very quickly after that, and has been an unbelievable partner in this group. And
Thank you.
Together we've achieved some pretty good success in this group. And I'm a little biased towards Norwegian, but I could tell you I had a wonderful trip, and we're going to be going through why some of those reasons during this broadcast. Dirk, do you do that? Do you compare your previous trips? I'm sure you can't help but to do that.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I really never had a bad experience. I mean, you always find something that's not to your liking, but I mean, you got to look at it as a whole. And as a whole, I never had a problem. I never really experienced any bad crew member, and really everything that was negative, was probably caused by myself too, because I was a little pushy. But
you're pushy. I can't imagine you being pushy.
Well, it wasn't easy, but I did it anyway. So what the heck? Especially with the kitchen staff.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I was very lucky. I had a great bunch of people, a great bunch of staff members. So welcome everyone to the Norwegian Cruise Line Latitudes Members Page. This is Charles and Dirk. We're going to talk about my most recent trip on the Dawn. We got some pictures and videos for you, ladies and gentlemen. Had a wonderful time. And Dirk, we got a lot of people joining us here. And I want to say hello to Joyce. Joyce has been around. A storm, I know Joyce is saying there's a storm headed for Florida. I saw. And there's a lot of people in the group that have some anxiety about that tropical storm that's developing in the Bahamas. We don't have any news on that, folks. I'm sorry. We don't know what corporate is NCL corporate is planning to do yet. I don't think they've made any decisions right now. But Joyce, I know I saw those storms coming. We got Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. Nancy's welcoming me back to the page. Thank you, Nancy. I had a great time. I missed everyone, but now I miss the cruise. So it's nice to be home, but I do miss the cruise. We have Darlene here. Hi, Darlene. I don't think I've seen you before. Welcome to the Norwegian Cruise Line Latitudes Members Page and Min Show. We have Nancy. We have Billy. Thanks, Nancy. Billy's here. Who else? Karen. Hey, Karen. Karen's from Chicago. What's up? What's up, Karen? And Ray is here. Ray is going to be on the Dawn in November. And we have Robin, who said hello. So, hey, Robin, welcome everybody to the Min Show. This is Charles and Dirk. And, Dirk, we're going to go check out a few things. So I want to just say, Dirk, we sailed out of New York City, and I live streamed it. And we had a bunch of people watching the live stream. And it was so distracting, and I'll tell you why it was distracting, Dirk. It was distracting because...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Charles, and we are live from the Norwegian...
There was this helicopter. Did you see that helicopter?
Yeah, I sure did.
That was hovering around? I was like, what in the world is going on there? So the helicopter was so distracting, and there's the helicopter. And I have a bunch of pictures of it. It was so I was trying to enjoy the sail away party and talk to the group, but all I could focus on was the helicopter as it was hovering and it was zipping around the ship. Nobody said anything about it. It was just there, zipping around, obviously pointing cameras at the ship. You could see it there. You see it? And it was just like hovering. And I got some pictures of that helicopter. It was so bizarre. And it was kind of raining, and I was worried it was going to rain. And I'm broadcasting, and they're doing the sail away party, and they started with the song Let's Get Loud, and they did this amazing, if you could see on the video, they did this amazing dance routine. They were like in perfect synchrony, the cruise director's staff. And I was trying to focus on that. I was trying to focus on what I was saying to the group. And that helicopter was all I could do was think about, what is that helicopter doing here? So the helicopter was off to the side, zipping around. And I got some crazy footage of it. So I tried my best to get through that. And I was worried about the rain and the humidity. And there's that helicopter again, folks. Just like I couldn't help but focus on it. And nobody else seemed to notice it. I was like, this is helicopter just flying around the ship. And no one seemed to notice the helicopter. And I'm like, is nobody seeing this helicopter? What is going on? So I didn't know, but obviously it must have been used for some kind of promotional video.
Maybe you got a helicopter anxiety.
I was like, what is this?
You ought to see a doctor about that.
I just couldn't understand. I was so focused on it. I was so distracting. Anyway, I saw the helicopter. That was a little strange. And also, folks, what was also strange, I got to find my pictures now that I had queued up, was the fog. There was like this strange fog, Dirk. Can you hear me? Did I just lose you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There was like this incredible fog, like just hovering over New York. It was surreal. It was kind of surreal. And if you look at this picture, this was taken from topsiders on the upper deck. Oh, you got to see the pictures of it. Yeah, there's the helicopter. You got to see the pictures I have of this helicopter. Whoops.
That helicopter also got a camera in the front.
Yeah, it was a camera. Yeah, it was obviously it was taking pictures. It was obviously taking pictures. It was but it was so distracting. It was so distracting to me for some reason. I was like obsessed with the helicopter. There's the helicopter top left, but the fog, folks. It was like cool and warm. Look how close. So the next picture, Dirk, is the helicopter again. And so it was like, this is the sail away in New York City. and you got this. Look how close this helicopter is to the cruise ship. It was so distracting and so surreal to see this thing. Did you catch up? Did your stream catch up? Yeah. So this helicopter was just hanging around,
Did it have any
taking
markings on it,
pictures.
George?
Totally black, a black helicopter, and
No
but
markings?
no more. I think it was following me. I think it was like, no, I'm kidding. But it was there, no markings at all, and it was just taking pictures of the ship. But look how close. So now I'm looking down. So I'm at topsiders, which I believe is on the 13th deck, looking down at this helicopter. So now the helicopter's lower than the top of the ship, just taking pictures. I mean, it's like it was so. Oh, I see some markings there, some blue numbers, but it was wild to see this helicopter. It was just hovering around the ship, and it was an experience. Let's just say that. And then between the helicopter and the fog, and I'm trying to live stream, I was so distracted. I was trying to do my best, but the fog was surreal. It was just a beautiful scene. The fog, the way it just blew in. And as we were moving through the channel, now this is New York City Harbor, Dirk. This is like, leaving at 4:00 at a nice
Is that the
Saturday.
Verrazano right there?
That's the Verrazano, yeah. Leaving at 4:00 at a nice Saturday. There's people everywhere. There's ships, there's recreation boats, and so the Norwegian Dawn is just steaming through this and honking its horn. The ship has radar, so that they're not going to hit anything, and they could, I'm sure they're communicating with ships in the area and speaking to the harbor master, the Coast Guard, whoever coordinates traffic in New York City Harbor. But they went through and they were beeping that foghorn, and this is as we sailed out south of the Verrazano. So that is a picture of the Verrazano. And so this is where the ship leaves from, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum. And the ship is usually docked here at this pier. And so we backed out and we sailed down here, down New York City, down the harbor, past Staten Island, and underneath the Verrazano, which is right here. And then, so this picture that I just showed you was taken right about here. Now, hopefully, I could find the picture again. But it was an experience, folks. It was here's the picture. So it was an experience. So it was a lot of fun. The sail away party was great. I don't know, for some reason I was obsessed with the helicopter, but it really was a wonderful time as we sailed out of New York City Harbor. As we got accustomed to the ship, we're walking around. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I got a little bit off track here. So we did the helicopter. So then we walked around the ship, and this is, I believe this is actually day 2, and I wanted to take some pictures of everyone, and we'll get back to these pictures. But the ship was amazing. It's a little bit dated, Dirk. Have you ever been on the Dawn?
Nope.
So the Dawn is interesting. It was a little bit dated, and I'm just bringing up the itinerary. So we sailed out of New York City. We went down to Orlando, which is Port Canaveral, Great Stirrup Cay, and then Nassau, Bahamas. And then we had 2 days at sea.
Is that the same size as the Pearl?
No, I think it's smaller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think the Dawn is actually one of their smaller ships. I think it was launched. I have some pictures. I think it was launched like in 2002 at some point. But it's one of their smaller ships. So we got around. We went around the ship. We planned we were going to eat on different nights. Wonderful time, folks. So that was me sailing out on the Dawn, and shortly thereafter it was sunset. We went to dinner the first night in Aqua, and then we went to a couple of shows, and then we the next day I went around the ship. I was taking peeks around. I wanted to show some pictures. So this is the Stardust, folks. If you're looking at the screen, hold on, let me make sure I got the right screen up.
Yep.
Can you see it, Dirk?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is the Stardust, folks. Let me get back to it. Beautiful lounge. This was all updated. All the public areas are fully updated. and really nice actually. But the cabin was a little. I don't think I took any pictures of the cabin. The cabin was dated. It was nice and clean and fresh and beautiful, but you could tell. If you asked me how old the cabin was, I would say the ship is 5 years old, but the ship is actually much older than that. So the cabin wasn't. I don't want to badmouth the cabin. It was still a nice cabin, but you could tell that it's been knocked around a little bit. But the rest of the public areas on the ship were absolutely beautiful. So that was the Stardust. And this is a little shot into Bamboo. Bamboo is like their sushi bar, Dirk. I don't know if you've ever been or eaten at one of the sushi restaurants on the ship.
Yes, I have. Yes.
So this is kind of like off the hallway. You could see people eating in the sushi bar. So I took a nice snapshot I wanted to share with the group. This is the next morning. So I took a nice picture off my balcony. I tried to take a nice panorama. And if you look on the left is actually this is kind of like a bent picture. On the left is the rear of the ship, and then I panned around to see the sunrise. This is the same morning I took that sunrise video, and then to the right you could see the other balconies and stuff that's there. So, folks, we got some other people joining us. What do we got here? Who's here? Billy is here. Hi, Billy. We haven't seen you in a while.
Hey,
Welcome.
Thomas Henry's there. Oh, hey, Thomas.
Ray is here. So Ray is going to be in the Dawn in November. Welcome, Ray. I'm sure you're going to have a great time. Robin is here. She has been on the Dawn 5 times, Robin. So let us know about some of the. Please hang around and comment as I go through what the trip was about. It'd be nice to hear your insight. Janet's going on the Breakaway soon. Breakaway is one of my favorite ships, Janet. You're going to have an excellent time. Karen's going on the Encore in January. That's exciting, Karen. And Denise says the crew on the Dawn is outstanding. Denise, I happen to agree with you 100%. Joyce says she would be focusing on the helicopter too. Yeah, Joyce, thank you. Thank you. I thought I was like, I couldn't help to think, what is this helicopter doing as it's zipping around the ship? So thanks, Joyce, for validating my focus on that helicopter. Yep, Robin is sailing out on the Sun. She likes the smaller ships. Dawn is definitely one of the smaller ships and one of the better well-run ships, I have to say, because it's very nicely contained. Mary says she had a helicopter, one of her cruises, that kept circling and circling, was doing promo shots. Yeah, I'm sure, Mary, that was exactly what it was. I'm reading Ron's comment, Dirk. Ron is saying that's a black helicopter. Have your tinfoil hat ready. Very funny, Ron.
And that's just the same guy that thinks that Texas barbecue is better than Memphis.
That's him. And
Yep.
maybe he's referencing my idea that the helicopter was following me, Dirk. I'm not sure. Yeah. Hello, we took Dawn last month. It was a wonderful cruise. Hi, Susan. Yep, the Dawn was a great cruise. And Robin is reminding us that it was refurbished around 3 or 4 years ago. Yep, absolutely, Robin. That's the truth. And it's still a beautiful ship. And I have some more pictures of public areas. So the Dawn is still a beautiful ship, I want to emphasize. But you could tell it's a little bit dated. Not terribly dated, but really just a little bit dated. Joyce is saying when they lived on the Massachusetts, we did Joyce is saying when she was on the Dawn, when she lived in Massachusetts, and they did the Canada New England cruise. That's actually, they're just changing off from the Florida Bahamas trip to the Canada New England trip, Joyce. So that actually is starting, I believe, this week. And we have a bunch of other people saying hello. Hello, everybody. And look, there's Tom. And Elaine does do a great job. So Tom Henry says Elaine does a great job. Elaine, Dirk, is the general manager of the Dawn, the person we spoke about earlier. And he really does do. He's a true professional. He really did an outstanding job.
The hotel manager.
The hotel manager. I mean, the guy was just an incredible human being.
He's French?
He's French. Yeah. Really, really, just did a great job. So I took some other pictures. Dirk, actually, it was my second day. I was trying to get a lot of media in for the group that as much as I could. And I got some great videos, folks. So stay tuned. I got some really spectacular stuff coming up. But this I thought was very cool. I took a picture of this because this person is like at cruise level 1,000, Dirk. Do you see these pictures?
Yep.
This is a master cruiser here with the clips and the towel. I thought this was a great idea. I thought everybody would appreciate that because when it is windy, Your towels blow around. It also lets people know that you're coming back to that chair. I thought this was a great idea, so I took a picture
No,
of
that's
the.
old. You can buy them. I mean, we got some that look like fish, and some other look like
Really, I've
bears.
never seen
Oh
it.
yeah,
I've never seen these. So this
yeah.
is.
You go and we got them at Bed Bath and Beyond one year, and we used them when we were on the beaches in Cancun, and I think you can even buy them on Amazon.
I thought this was such a great idea, so I wanted to show
Oh yeah,
this person's like
that's been around
a
for years.
super cruiser. Super cruiser, this person. Yeah, maybe I've missed it, so maybe I just wasn't looking close enough. I actually threw this picture in. This is in Gatsby. I had to show everybody.
Whose feet are those?
This is just some random guy. I'm sitting in Gatsby's one day, and this guy just comes and sits all by himself and takes his shoes off and is hanging out with his shoes off.
That's the
in
same guy that
Gatsby's.
sat next to me on the airplane with his shoes off.
I can tell you, Dirk, this is the type of guy that had no business taking his shoes off in public places.
Yeah, you get those on the airplanes too.
Exactly. So I thought this was too funny. I had to take a picture. I had to put it in here somewhere. I actually wanted to mention it a little bit later, but it popped up in the feed. I just thought, like, what kind of a person do you have to be to go to a place? And he's wearing long pants. He wasn't in the pool. He was fully dressed, and he just goes barefoot and sits down and just is hanging out in Gatsby's. And Gatsby's it's a cocktail bar. And this guy's hanging out with his shoes off. So anyway, I thought the group would appreciate that. Not fun seeing this guy, ladies and gentlemen.
Ugly toes too. No nail polish, I just noticed.
No nail polish. Yeah, he was not. I'm telling you, he's the type of guy that you don't want to see him without his, without his shoes on. Just FYI. So, I think after I saw this, I was like, I have to do a video on passenger etiquette. Passenger etiquette, because there's other things I noticed too on the cruise that it had nothing to do with the cruise line. Had nothing. The cruise line, the people working, it was excellent. It was just excellent human beings, excellent trip, true professionals. The ship was beautiful. The food was amazing. But the passengers, you know what else I saw that bothered me? That I experienced, Dirk? We were by the pool. We had 3 sea days. And so we would hang out by the pool. It was like a nice, beautiful, I have young kids that wanted to go in the pool. We were hanging out by the pool. And you know what bothered me? It was packed. When you're at sea days on the pool and you're not in Vibe, and you're not in the Haven, the Dawn doesn't have a Haven anyway. But if you don't have access to any of the areas, you're sitting by the pool with everyone else on the ship, just about, right? There's lots of people on the ship, and you know what bothered me? It didn't bother me all the people. It was actually very cool. Everybody was so well behaved. Everybody was really having a good time. The music was amazing. The food was amazing. We got a nice, comfortable table for my kids and I. But what bothered me is people they have these spray sunblocks. Not lotion that you put in your hand and rub on your skin, but the spray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? So there are people, it's packed, and you got people just like spraying that stuff everywhere, like somebody's sitting right next to them, breathing it in. That bothered me a little bit. So I think the bare feet and the suntan lotion spraying I'm gonna produce a video, Dirk, with your help, about what not to do on a cruise, or a cruise passenger etiquette. I think would be a very. What does everybody think about that? Should we make a video about cruise passenger etiquette? Let us know. We could use your help with that, folks. So let us know if we should do that cruise passenger etiquette video. So, in other words, don't take your shoes off in Gatsby's, and don't spray sunblock, with somebody standing right next to you. So it bothers people. What do you think?
Well, I normally do it on the, if you get a balcony, you do it on the balcony before you go.
Right by the pool. Hundreds of people around. They're spraying that stuff. It's driving me crazy. Anyway, we're gonna do that video, folks, and we need your help with it. So we're gonna do it. So also, the Sky was docked next to us on one of the ports. I think this is Nassau, Bahamas. The Norwegian Sky was right next to us. We got some great pictures of the Sky. You know what's cool? You know what's interesting about the Sky? is that if you look at the cabins, the balcony cabins, they have a traditional door. Do you see that, Dirk?
Yeah.
They don't have sliding glass doors. I thought that was pretty interesting. They have like a porthole style window and a glass door that opens like a traditional door. So I thought that was an interesting feature on the.
It must be an old ship.
I think it's an older ship. Yeah. So I thought that was an interesting feature on the Sky rather. This is the Sky again. I just took a panorama on Nassau,
Well,
Bahamas.
look at the. Excuse me, Charles. Look at the bridge. Is that open at the end?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, if you that all the ships have that. They have a wing that comes out where
Well, I know, but they're normally covered. This one looks like it's open.
this one was open. Yeah, this was totally open here. This,
So that's a real old ship then.
but I've seen them like this. I've seen the ships with the open wing. No, maybe I'm mistaken.
No. Look at the new ships. All the wings are closed.
Really? Yeah, I have to look
Oh,
at that. Yeah, this is all open.
absolutely.
Yeah, and there's no glass. A lot of the newer ships have the glass at the bottom.
That's what I'm saying. They're totally covered.
Yeah, so the glass on the floor, so that whoever's like helping the
Yeah.
captain dock the ship can look down and see how close they are to the pier. Yeah, there's no glass there. Maybe that's why it's open. Maybe the closed ones have the glass so that they could see.
Yeah.
On this one, they probably just look over the side.
Well, that's an old ship, so that got to be old.
It's an old. I don't know when it was made, but it was a nice sight to see, and I like the hull art. So I thought the hull art was nice, and it was packed. It was just packed with people. This is the again the Sky just panorama from my balcony, and this guy came to visit us one day. We walked out. I was looking at my glass door on my balcony, and this seabird was just hanging out on my balcony. So I thought it was interesting. There, I'm going to show you my room. I'm going to show you what room I was in. I just got to pull up the deck plans. So here's the deck plans, folks. I was on deck 11, and I was in this room here, 11686. This is the front of the ship here. This is the aft of the ship. And I was in 11686, which is right here. And if you look at that square, it says it has the privacy balcony. That's right here. It had like this little enclosed, well, it wasn't little. It was like an enclosed balcony. And I had like a little thing on, it was like a little outcropping so I could see behind the ship. And I posted some pictures before. And it was nice. It was nice enclosed. We had a little bit of rain a couple of days. The rain really, you could sit outside on your balcony. And the rain, it didn't really blow in. And it was pretty conveniently located in the sense that if you like the spa, and if you buy the spa pass, which is not expensive, I think it's like $150 or $125 for the day, you're right outside the spa. You're literally like right there. I mean, I came out of my room and I made this right turn, and the spa was here. And it was a nice cabin, privacy balcony. It was a mini suite, and it was a fairly good location. And right upstairs from us on the 12th floor was the Garden Cafe. So in the morning when I woke up, again, this is the after the ship. This is now the 12th floor. I just walked up the stairs here, and I had access immediately to the Garden Cafe and all of the amenities there, coffee and water and whatever I needed. Just one flight up from my room on the 11th floor. What's interesting, Dirk, on this ship about the Garden Cafe, it's not a complete U. It's closed on one end. So, folks, if you plan
I see that.
if you plan on sailing on the Dawn in the near future, what's interesting about this is this, especially on day one, this Garden Cafe here on this side becomes a thoroughfare of people walking through to get to the pool, because right outside here, right through here, is the whole pool area, the bar, the topside is bar and grill. So this becomes like on day one, the first day, with people with bags and everything. I don't know why people want to take their carry-ons, their rolling luggage with them instead of checking it. But this became like a pack with people, and it's like a thoroughfare that walks through. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would suggest if you get to the Garden Cafe on day one or any other day, check out this side, hang out on this side, because there's people coming from the pool. This becomes a major like highway of people coming through, and there's some tables here that's not shown here, but this becomes a major thoroughfare of traffic. So go on this side. There's another side to the Garden Cafe, and you should hang out around here. That's the place to be. And then people come, and you still have access to the pool on that side. You just can't get through to the stairwell over here. But big deal. But so check out that side. If it's especially on day one, you want to get comfortable, you want to wait for your room, go hang out on that side, and that would be the port side of the ship, ladies and gentlemen, on the Garden Cafe. So go, if you're facing forward, it's on the left side. So that was interesting, Dirk. And the other areas, the public areas, where most of the main attractions were on Deck 7. And we spent a lot of time in the Bliss. So again, we were very lucky. It was in the aft of the ship. So we were in the aft of the ship, just a few flights down. A lot of stuff happened in the Bliss Ultra Lounge because there's no Spinnaker Lounge on this ship. They actually took the Spinnaker out and created a whole floor of suites where the former Spinnaker was. So the Bliss Ultra Lounge becomes a major meeting and attraction. They have entertainment in the Bliss Ultra Lounge, and the whole 7th floor is really where the action is. They have the wine bar, the photo gallery if you want to check out your photos, and then of course the main grand atrium, which is like the hub of the ship. And then you walk up, and they have the sushi bar, which is bamboo, and the sake bar, the little sake bar that you could try different sakes. And then around the corner, it's kind of closed off, and I'm assuming because the type of cooking they do there, they have teppanyaki. And I went to teppanyaki with my family, ladies and gentlemen. It was wonderful. It was excellent, as good or better than any hibachi restaurant that I have been in. And the chefs that really cook and do a show at the same time were spectacular. They really did an excellent job. So, and the food was great. So nice and fresh. I got to see food in teppanyaki, and it was amazing. So really had a great time. And we went to Bamboo. Excellent sushi. Had a good time. And then as you walk towards the forward of the ship, they have the trade winds, and they have the Stardust Theater, and that's the where. And that's the end. And so the main hubs of the ship, Dirk, are really Deck 6 and Deck 7, because on Deck 6 you have another entry to the Stardust lower level, and you have the casino, and you have La Bistro, you have Gatsby's where the man took his shoes off, and you have the cigar bar. And I don't know if you remember, Dirk, remember we spoke about smelling smoke on a ship?
Yeah.
And I told you that I don't recall. I guess because I was so aware of it, because I was like looking for it. I was looking to see. So all along Deck 7 there were smoking areas, and in here particularly, and of course we were right by the casino, but off of Gatsby's and Gatsby's bar, they had the cigar bar, and they had the casino, and so right here on this level, lots of cigarette smoke. Lots. The smell of smoke was like permanent. It was permanent there. Like you walk down there, you smell cigarettes.
The problem is, Charles, on the bigger ships, where you got the center stairs, etc., and everything is open towards the center. So there, you get all the smoke from the casino.
Yeah.
Going to 3, 4, 5 levels, and it's pretty much contained to that level.
Yeah, and I have to emphasize that it's not overpowering. It's not an overpowering smell. You're just aware. You know what I'm saying? You're just aware of the smell of... You're not going to walk out of there smelling like cigarette smoke, ladies and gentlemen. You're just aware that it's there. And I only bring it up because we had discussed it on a previous show, and we had talked about smoking on ships on a previous show. So it wasn't overpowering, but you are aware of that smell. Of course, you're near the casino. It's going to smell like cigarette smoke. And all the areas on Deck 7, especially off the atrium, they had sliding glass doors. They were all smoking areas set up there. Never smelled it out there. Never smelled it. The smoke didn't blow in. It was very well done. And never smelled any smoke other than in those areas that I had previously mentioned. And I just want to go through, in case I'm forgetting something. the other areas. They had a nice little kids section in the back off the 12th floor, which was really nice. And it was a little bit too young for my kids. My youngest is going to be 10. So he just wanted to check it out. He's like in that age where, you know, he's not quite a kid, you know, not quite a teen. So he went to just check it out, and he you know, he lost interest pretty quick. And then so he hung out in the main pool with everybody else. He had a good time. And then on this floor, I think this is the 13th floor. Yeah, this is 13. They had a little jogging track. The Cagney's was up there. Moderno, which was amazing, is up there. We're going to talk about the restaurants in a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. And the Mojito Bar, it was just a nice, this was a nice deck. My daughter went to Entourage a couple of nights. She really enjoyed herself. She met some other young people on the ship. And we didn't do Splash. My son was just hanging out with us the whole time. But my daughter did want to check out Entourage, especially during the sea days, because she got a little bored. So she had some fun, and that really made her trip. That decision to go to the Entourage. I wanted to talk a little bit about Dirk, and this is like, wow, this is like I'm already talking for 40 minutes, folks. So this was 34 minutes. This is Bamboo. We did this. We talked about that. We talked about the clips. We talked about the feet guy. We saw this cool bird. He actually got away. He couldn't figure out a way to get out. He was off. This is in Nassau, Bahamas. He couldn't figure out. He saw the glass, and he was trying to figure out why he couldn't get by the glass. But then I went out to try to help him. I was like so afraid he was going to get in my room. So I had my son like hold a towel up while I went outside, and he figured out how to fly away. I thought for sure the bird, when I opened the glass door, was going to come in. But he was very cool, and I have a little video of him too, getting around.
Like a helicopter, huh?
I thought for sure he was going to get in the room. But anyway, he found his way out eventually, ladies and gentlemen. And this, I just wanted to highlight this because this was on the Sky, which is right next to us.
Oh, the crew drill.
Yeah, and then just to show everybody, I mean, when everybody's off the ship, these people, they're still working. You know, they were drilling. When they're not working, they were drilling. They were doing safety drills. And the same thing on our ship. They did a whole safety drill. They actually shut down some stuff when we were in Nassau, Bahamas, and many people left the ship. At the height of when the majority of people were off the ship, they did the safety drill. It lasted maybe 15 minutes. It wasn't really that much of an inconvenience, but just to show everybody, this is what these people do. There's no downtime. They're working when they're working constantly. This I just wanted to include because of the scale of the ship. You really can't see it, but the ship goes down as far as you could see. Like it's a nice sized ship. It's about 1,000 feet long, and even though it's smaller compared to the other Norwegian vessels, it's still a huge ship. And here's another guy. He was painting. He was just touching up areas that with a white paintbrush. This was the Grand Atrium. I took this picture just to show everyone how beautiful it is. And I mentioned earlier that all the public areas were updated. This was a stunning space. When you came into it, this is the first space you see when you get on the ship. They have a beautiful sculpture there. The coffee bar is right behind there, which was excellent, Dirk. Dirk, did you ever have coffee in the coffee bar?
No, my wife does.
Excellent. They really do a great job at the coffee bar. So I just want to kind of accentuate. If you're a coffee person, you should hang out. You should get something from the coffee bar. At least try it at least once. It's like $3 for a medium coffee, and $5 for a cappuccino or whatever, latte or whatever else you like. Definitely worth going to. It's not included in the drink package. So it was a nice experience to have that quality coffee on the ship. And this is my martini day, Dirk, day 5. You and I spoke on this day.
That, my brother.
So I was hanging out in Gatsby's playing some trivia, which I did horrible in. But Dirk and I spoke on this day, and I don't remember I had too many martinis, folks. I was taking advantage of the drink package that day, and I know Dirk and I spoke, but I had no recollection of our conversation.
Charles, I taped it for better days.
I hope you didn't tape it because I was like, I texted him the next day. I was like, Dirk, I know I spoke to you, but I have no idea what I said. And of course, being Dirk being who he is, of course he's just tried to play with me. He was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll never tell a soul. I'll never tell a soul." But I know we spoke. I had a great time. It actually was a lot of fun. If you're at sea, you should try trivia. If you're bored or you want to check out something.
Number 14 is wrong.
Amadeus. It was wrong. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't Amadeus. This was a Broadway show trivia.
I told you number 14 was,
wrong. And all the blank ones were wrong too, Dirk, by the way.
I'll tell you that.
So what they did, they showed you like a screenshot of the play, and you had to guess what play it was. They blacked out the name. You had to guess what play it was. Some of them I knew, some I didn't know. It was a lot of fun. There was a great group of people there, and I had too many martinis. So this is the Bamboo. So this is the sake bar, what you're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen. And behind that is the sushi bar, which is empty. There was nobody working at the time I took this picture. And then beyond that is the Japanese restaurant. It really was very nice. And if you like sushi, highly recommend it. Really, really enjoyed the food from Bamboo. This is Oceans, Dirk, on the Dawn. Oceans is really nice on the Dawn. And I think this was the first Oceans ever in the NCL fleet. And if anybody out there has information on that, let me know. But this was the first Oceans. The Dawn was launched when Kevin O'Sheehan was the CEO, and he created Oceans, which is now fleet-wide. I think they started renaming them, though. But it's a nice little Irish pub. You can get food 24/7.
You see the background? That's Liverpool playing.
Yeah, they had a soccer game on.
Yeah, Liverpool. See the red jerseys? Yep.
So Oceans is like an Irish pub-style restaurant, ladies and gentlemen. And 24/7, you can go in. They have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, late-night snacks, and you can go there anytime. And they have waiter service, and you can sit down.
Good wings.
Great wings. They have other comfort foods. And I ate there one morning for breakfast when we missed it, and it was really nice little breakfast. Had a really nice time there.
See, I always thought it was Oceans.
I think O'Sheehan. That was his last name. I think they're replacing it.
It sounds like Oceans.
It does sound like Oceans. I think they're renaming them on the new ship. They don't call it Oceans anymore. I guess the new CEO is wants to phase out the name.
Jealous.
But yeah, but it's a nice little place, and it's nice and clean. And like I said, 24/7 is Oceans, and it's a nice place. This is the bar. It's like a really Irish pub style. This is Mr. Sexy Legs. You had to see, I just have one picture of it. You had to see the crowd for Mr. Sexy Legs. If you haven't been on a Norwegian ship, or if you have been on a Norwegian ship, you know that this is a very popular thing. They had like eight or nine like guys go up there trying to impress the judges. It was packed and people were hooting and hollering and having a nice time. It was really a nice
Did
thing.
you win?
Still I didn't do it. I don't have the personality to go out. Believe it or not, Derek, I can't go out and do it. Did you ever do that? Did you ever participate in Mr. Sexy Legs? I didn't. I can't do it. I don't have it in me. I bet you. I don't know if he's still there. Anybody is Tom Henry? I bet you did it at least once. I know Tom Henry, ladies and gentlemen, is a longtime member of the group, very active in the group, and I think he actually won Mr. Sexy Legs. Tom, let us know if you've ever participated in it. So Mr. Sexy Legs, very popular. So, Dirk, this was on the ship. There's different types of restaurants, as you know. There's the complimentary dining, which is all that's included in your fare. So you have Oceans. I'm going through them now. Aqua's one of the main dining rooms. Bamboo, that is the Asian fare that I mentioned earlier. There's an upcharge for sushi, though. If you go there and order sushi, there's definitely an upcharge. The Bimini Grill is when you're by the pool. Oh, no, the Bimini Grill is located way up above the pool, and they have hamburgers, hot dogs, stuff like that, and you can hang out and have nice little bar-style tables. The Garden Cafe is the buffet. That's what we spoke about before. I don't know if there's any more photos. But this is a shot of the area that's closed off where there is no thoroughfare. If you look at the rear of the Garden Cafe here, that door is closed, and that door actually leads into Los Lobos, which is the Mexican restaurant that I'm going to speak about shortly. So this is the area where you should be hanging out in the Garden Cafe. You should definitely check it out. There's no thoroughfare, less trafficked, nice little cozy spots to sit, and you don't have to deal with all those people, walking by with their luggage and stuff on day one. And then the Venetian, which was the main dining room. I didn't even get a chance to eat in the Venetian because we were so busy in the specialty restaurants. So this trip, folks, and I have a little bit of a kind of an announcement. But this trip we did Moderno, which is the churrascaria, which they bring out the meat all the time. You had your green card and your red card, and when your card is on green in front of you, the waiters bring their fresh. They circulate with different types of sausages and meats and everything else, and they come over and they slice them and put on your plate. And then when you turn it to red, that's when they stop, and there's a nice little salad bar, and they have all kinds of fixings. And I don't want to call it fixings because it's upscale. It's an upscale experience.
The salad bar is better than the rest.
It's excellent. It's not fixings. It's a high quality buffet, and they have the churrascaria. They have the meats that come out. Really excellent. Highly recommend Moderno. Sushi was wonderful. The atrium, I don't think I went. Oh, this is the coffee bar, I think, in the public area. I went to Cagney's. I didn't order steak in Cagney's. I actually ordered the seafood platter, broiled seafood platter, which was expertly cooked and delicious. And people that I was with had the steak, and they raved about the steak. But I do recommend that seafood platter. Really was great. I ate in teppanyaki, I mentioned earlier, which was an amazing show and meal. But the best restaurant that I've ever eaten at on the Dawn, and you should not miss it, folks. I'm telling you.
Cafeteria.
I was so impressed with Los Lobos. I have never eaten there on any ship before. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, I live in New York City. I have access to many excellent restaurants in New York City. And Los Lobos was by far one of the best meals I've had at land or at sea. I highly recommend it. We went there. Everything was homemade there, Dirk. You went there, they give you the nachos.
Mexican there?
It's Mexican.
What is it, Mexican fare?
All Mexican, high quality, delicious Mexican food. And it had, like I said, even the tortillas, and like they made the tortillas fresh. So when you ordered tortillas, they would fry them up, and they would come like, tortilla chips, that you dip into salsa when you first start eating. So they would give you salsa and fresh made tortilla chips when you sat down. And then we ordered guacamole for the table. And they come out and they make the guacamole in front of you. They come out with it. They take fresh avocados. They put it in there. They make the guacamole. They put it right in front of you. It was spectacular. The food. And then I ordered some seafood. Everybody got something. And I got that. I was inspired to take pictures of the food because it was just that good. I mean, this is some burritos covered with tomato sauce, some cheese. This is a seafood burrito that my daughter got. Rice and beans. This is a fresh shrimp shish kebab. It was, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been to Los Lobos, it was the best restaurant that I've been to on a Norwegian ship, and one of the best restaurants I've ever eaten in ever. It was really excellent, Dirk. I highly recommend Los Lobos to everyone out there. This was that show Elements. So this was a major production. It was actually a very interesting show. Have you seen this show, Dirk?
No.
It's almost like a Cirque du Soleil type show. I can't even describe it. It's like a dance show. It's like a magic show. It's a very high energy show, and it's based on the elements. So they have, little frozen, they have heat, they have cold, they have air, they have sea, all the different elements. And there's a different fire, and they have all these themes, and they come out, and the music is very interesting, and they put on like a magic like dance show. I can't even describe it. It's like a Cirque du Soleil style thing. Really, really great show. And folks, I went. This was taken a half hour before the show started, and the show was packed. It was already packed. So if you're on the Dawn and it's Elements Night, get there at least a half hour before. If you have a party of 4, party of 4 or less, a half hour before. If you have a bigger party and you want to sit together, you got to go like 45 minutes before, because this started filling up very early, and it was a great show. It was packed to the gills. They had to get people out off the stairs because people were still like kind of swarming around looking for an empty seat, but there was none to be found in the whole area, so they had to get the people off the stairs. Really great show. This is a shot of my stateroom. This is the hallway. This is interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So when you go around the ship, you get out of the elevator, they have these little diagrams. If you haven't seen them before, it gives you it highlights the floor you're on, what your location is, and what's available on that floor. I just thought that was interesting for everybody to see.
How come you didn't decorate your door?
I didn't decorate because it's against the rules now. We confirmed. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, you can no longer decorate your door on any cruise line, any Norwegian cruise ship. We got confirmed from the corporate office this past week. Dirk had corresponded with the corporate office while I was out of town, and they have confirmed that no more door decorations on the ship. Dirk, you want to talk a little bit about why?
They said that it's a fire hazard and that their insurance advised against it, so it's corporate policy that no door decoration of any ship. I guess they got a little out of hand. I saw some of the decoration where the entire door was covered in crepe paper, etc., etc. And I can see that some drunk or whatever set some fire to it or whatever. So people are messing with it. They have too much to drink, and it's just a fire hazard. So it's banned on all ships. Fleet-wise.
They deemed it a fire hazard. And it will be removed, right? They said that they're going to take it off your door. They're going to direct your steward to take it.
Well, what they're supposed to do is have the room steward move it to the inside of the door if you have it on the outside.
So no more door decorations, folks. Maybe it's temporary. Dirk, you never know.
I don't think so because I don't think so because the insurance companies view the ship too and look at fire hazards, etc., and they do pay premiums too for insurance. So I don't think so. I think that's a final decision. Mr. Del Rio loves amusement, just door decorations. Thomas.
I'm just looking at some of the comments. I'm trying to, folks. It's hard for me to talk and present and keep track of your comments. I apologize. I know there's a lot of activity in the comments. I just can't. I can't. I'm able to get to it at the end, and we're already 54 minutes in. I got so much more to cover. Dirk, this is one of the public areas that I had mentioned on the ship, fully updated and really beautiful looking and nice and clean and fresh smelling. They really did a great job. This is in the Grand Atrium. There's a little seating area, and if you look behind the seating, I thought this was so beautifully decorated. And behind it is the midship elevators. They have these glass elevators that go up in the atrium, and you can look out the glass elevators several levels from
those
I think it's 7.
Chairs.
Those are heavy duty chairs, and always people. This was like a moment where I just happened. Nobody was on the ship, and I was like, I got to get a snapshot of this spot. And it's a nice little area to hang out. You can go get coffee in the cafe, which is right to the left of this picture at the coffee bar, and you could hang out here. You could people watch. It's a nice little spot to hang out. Another example.
Hey, by the way, somebody asked, what about a dry erase board, which we use for communication, from Jennifer Tomlin? I guess you can try it. The only thing they can do is move it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how far they go.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know. I'm sure we'll find out, because our members are going to go, and they're going to people that may not know about the new rule will share their experience with us.
I read some comments where they still did decoration on the door, nothing happened. But I guess as time goes, they give it like a grandfather something in, but it's going to be gone.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? I mean, times are changing, right? As they say, people
Yep.
get more and more strict. At least, when you think about what could happen, I think it's probably a smart decision because somebody
I
walks
think
by
it,
with a lighter or something, because they're upset at
I
you
think
because you sprayed
too.
suntan lotion at the pool.
Well,
They can
I think
light your
too.
door on fire.
And then what I think too is that it started just with a few little things on it, and it just got out of hand where the entire door was covered.
Oh yeah, we've seen them. It's like
Yeah.
extreme. It's like we should have a show, extreme cruise ship door decorations, because that's what it became, right? People were
Yeah.
really putting stuff on there.
Jennifer, you asked about the board, try a race board. The only thing I can say is try it. The only thing you can do is move it inside to the cabin, but I
Yeah,
guess
see
it's
what
worth
happens.
a shot.
I'm sure if it's magnetic or they're probably not going to give you a problem with it. Who knows? Let's keep us informed. Let us know what happened, Jennifer. Uh,
Thomas, once you're in the Haven, you don't do door decoration. I need to give you some Haven etiquette class before you go.
that's it. We'll do. You know what we'll do, Dirk? We'll do a passenger etiquette video, and then we'll do a Haven etiquette video.
Well, I'm gonna give one to Thomas on personal messenger.
I'm sure. Tom, has Tom stayed in the Haven before?
I don't know, but
I think he has.
he's got an upgrade to the Haven I saw today.
So, folks, again, these are the signage that they have in and around the elevator that you can look and see what's happening on the floor. And the interesting thing about the door, and I should have taken a picture of it, they have these carpets in the hallways with the fish swimming in one direction, and the fish always swim to the front of the ship. So you could tell what direction you're going. And if you're in a hallway and you're not sure where you are, if you're heading towards the back or the front of the ship, you look down at the carpet, and the fish on the carpet are swimming towards the front of the ship. I should have taken a picture. These were the officers on the ship. There's Elaine. Elaine is right there in the center here. He's the general manager
You
of the
gotta
ship.
get the picture.
Really did a
There we
great
go.
job.
There we go. There we
Yeah,
go.
here's a close up here. Here's Elaine right here. You can see me in the glass with my glasses on. Captain Martin Holmquist. I notice all captains are not very personable, Dirk. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
They're like all business. These guys, man, they just this like all business. They've seen these passengers come and go. This was the cruise director. He did a great job. His name was Richard Maddock, and he had an assistant cruise director named Alvin. But it's not Alvin that everybody's thinking. It was a different Alvin that nobody really that I've never met before, but equally as talented. Richard was like a game show host. He like really did a great job. He was very polished. It was like a very polished presenter, really natural guy. I mean, everything he did was polished and well done. So he was great. And if you haven't sailed with him before, you're gonna have a good time with.
I see the
Richard. He really did a
FMB
great job.
director, Tony Winkler, sounds like a German guy. He must have emigrated.
I'm not sure. What's F&B? Oh, food and beverage director. Yeah.
Yeah.
And folks, they had a beautiful wine cellar. They had one of these Michael Mondavi wine cellars there, and it was really nice looking. I mean, it's just very stunning space. And I thought I'd highlight it. This was earlier in the day in port, so it wasn't open. But really was a beautiful space. You can go there. They have wine by the bottle or by the glass, so you can hang out and relax. And there's some nice little tables off to the side. You can hang out.
Any
off the
snacks in
beaten
there or
path.
just wine?
Any what?
Do they have any snacks in there too, or just
No,
beverage?
just I didn't notice any snacks. I didn't notice anybody eating. I'm not sure if maybe they serve cheese in here, but I just recognize it as a wine bar. I didn't get a chance to actually use the space. I was on a family cruise, but it's such a beautiful looking space that I wanted to show everybody. And of course, the Mondavi family is a famous wine family from California. Made famous by Robert Mondavi and the mega hit. What was it? Opus One, Dirk? Was a mega hit wine?
That's not too cheap either.
No, very expensive. And Robert Mondavi, who was the founder of Mondavi Wines, actually created that blend. I think it was an American French blend, and it was a major hit. And now it's very expensive. but that's the family, the Mondavi family, and I believe, Dirk, they were the first family to take a wine company public. Mondavi is, I believe, a publicly traded, or at least
It
was,
is.
yeah,
It
public on
is. It
Nasdaq.
is.
Yeah, so really great. Really, every Norwegian ship has amazing wines, amazing selection of wines. And this was such a nice, beautiful space where if I did have the chance, I would probably spend a lot of time in this space. But as I said, I was with
But
my
they don't
kids.
sell martinis, so that's not
No,
your
no
way.
martinis, no martinis, just wine. This is a picture of Bliss. Bliss was it was a really beautiful space. And as I mentioned earlier, there's no Spinnaker Lounge on the ship. So this is a major hub on the Dawn. It's a major hub for gathering, for entertainment, and a really beautifully done, well managed. That they had 4 waiters going around at any given time for the people that was sitting close to the dance floor. It just cleaned the dance floor when I was taking these pictures early one morning, and I wanted to get a few snapshots for everybody. There's a stage in the back there. There's the grand piano, if you could see it, off to the left. A lot of shows. They had karaoke in here. They had bandioke. They had like a Broadway kind of type show. Really a comedy. They had this singer comedy guy that was really good. And my family and I spent a lot of time in this space. Really beautifully done space. And here's a picture from the stage looking out onto the rest of the lounge. Major hub. This is inside the elevators, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I'm not getting too tedious. This is like, just so you know. Oh, no, this isn't. This is just a sign. This is not the elevator. This is just a sign on the floor that tells you outside the elevator what's on that particular floor, what you could find. If you haven't been on a cruise ship before, or if you're new to cruising and you don't know where something is, you could just refer to this directory that's usually in the elevator lobby, and you could find where you need to be. This is inside the elevator. It tells you what's going on, what floor you're in, where you're going,
Yeah.
and what's
The
on
new,
that.
as a
what's
matter
on
of
that
fact, the
floor.
new ships have touch screens.
Oh, that's cool, really.
Yep.
This was in Bliss, and I thought this was interesting because there was a show going on. It was Karaoke Idol, and the place was packed, Dirk. The place was jam-packed with people. Now, there's people, I showed you the space before. There's people, all around. There's people like if you look beyond the bar, those ring of seats there, that's where my family and I were sitting, right here in these seats. And the place is packed, and this person just drags one of those high chairs up and just sits in front, blocking everybody behind her. Just like again, cruise ship etiquette. She just sat there like not a care in the world, grabbed that chair, pulled it up to the front, and blocked everybody's view behind her sitting in that high chair.
They didn't make her move?
No. Nobody bothered her. She was only there, maybe she was there for 45 minutes, but still, she was there. She was there. It turns out, I think her son was like one of the people that was singing, but nobody knew that at the time, and the crew members certainly didn't approach her, but she just went and she didn't care who was behind her. She blocked everybody's view. She wanted to get her video, Derek, and she certainly got it. And this is coming back now into New York Harbor. I took this from my balcony as we were passing the Statue of Liberty, returning to New York City. Same thing, there's that little enclosed balcony, the privacy balcony that I had mentioned to you. Again, the view of the Statue. It was very hard to get the Statue of Liberty in focus, by the way, folks. And so there's a statue from my room. This is looking out of our from the room into the off the balcony, and then this is as the ship started to dock. That bridge in the distance is the George Washington Bridge, and this is the Hudson River, ladies and gentlemen. And then to the right is Manhattan, and to the left is Jersey. And up in the distance, that's the George Washington Bridge, is the major
Manhattan.
bridge. Manhattan. And just a beautiful sunrise coming up. It was like a perfect ending to the cruise. But this isn't the end, because and this is the ship. As we got off the ship to get ready to go home, I took this shot from the front. It was really a wonderful thing. So I got some videos, Dirk, and I'm not sure if we should end the video here. We're an hour and 5 minutes, or should I show some videos? What do you think?
Well, it depends how many videos you got.
I think I'll go through them quickly. We still got a nice audience here, so I'll go through some of the videos very quickly and just give you some background to each one of them. So let's go. Let's start with this one. So this is, I took this, again, the first morning. This was, I tried to get the sunrise, and I believe this is the one where the storm blew in. I just want to make sure. Yeah, so it's cool. I think this is it, is it? So as the sun was coming up, clouds started to gather. And so I had my camera set up on a mount, magnetic. I had this magnetic mount with my camera, and it was kind of bouncy. So as the ship was moving, the wind was blowing, you see a little bit of a bounce. And then you see, if you look, Dirk, you could see where the rain is falling. So on the left, there's no rain. And you could see the sky, and you could see the rain come in. And I thought this was, even though it was, I was looking forward to the sunrise, you could see that the rain falling in the distance. You see it? You see where there's no rain, and then all of a sudden the rain comes in, and of course we sail through a little bit of a rainstorm. You can hear the rain dripping. You know, it's not all sunshine, folks, and sometimes it rains, but even the rain at sea is just, and then it blows by, and we're out of the rain. This was an interesting. We're going to have to talk about this another time because we're running out of time, and more people should see this. So he does a whole presentation about Cruise Next. This guy. This is the Cruise Next guy. He talks about Cruise Next, and maybe we should save this, Dirk. And he explains the Cruise Next program, and he also talks about the future ships and how they're gonna. What Norwegian's goal is with the future ships. So he talks about they're making ships the same size as like the Breakaway, the Getaway, but they're limiting the number of passengers that can go on the ship. Have you heard this?
Yep.
No?
Oh, the size of ship, yes, but I didn't realize that they
so they're limiting 6 more ships, he's saying. Project Leonardo.
The size of the Norwegian please.
Leonardo class, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, the guest asking to do big ship.
Well, as long as they don't build them in France, they're okay.
The other cruise line, we do the different again.
So what Norwegian is doing is they're building these big mega ships and then reducing the number of passengers to create a better experience, which I'm sure will come at a higher cost. But if you want that better experience, I'm sure there are many people that are gonna be willing to pay. I would certainly pay for that experience. Again, so I think Dirk, we can make a whole show about this, and we should probably save this for another time. But it was really he was great. He actually was really entertaining and really funny. And I wanted to talk a little bit about my excursions, but it was so. We're so far into this show. I can't believe it took this long. So in Florida, I did in the past. I did the Kennedy Space Center, which I highly recommend. Really amazing experience. And then this trip, I did the pontoon cruise on the Banana River. So what they do is you come off the ship, you get into a bus, they take you to a little marina. You get in the pontoon boat. It's a big pontoon boat. It's not a traditional pontoon boat that you might have seen. We had about 20-something people on the trip, and they go around, and it's really like a wildlife tour. But if you've been to Florida, you've pretty much seen everything that you get to see. I mean, I've been to Florida before, so all the wildlife that we saw, I have seen before. But it was still a nice, calm, nice day out. And this was one of the videos that I took. This was a highlight of the whole trip. Just watch carefully here what happens.
What is that when they...
So the captain, we kind of had a little bit of a dud of a trip. We were looking for dolphins. And we finally found them. And that dolphin kept on jumping. It was just naturally just jumping out of the water. So the captain was so excited, he actually asked me to post it on his Facebook group, his Facebook page, which I did.
He was probably looking for tips.
But it was, it was great. That's what he said. The captain was like, "Oh, I paid him this morning." I don't know if you heard it, but I'm going to upload that video to our group in the near future. This was. I have one more spectacular video where you see a shooting star. This was, I believe, that sunrise video, the beginning of the sunrise video before the sun came up. The sun is just starting to come up. It's not above the horizon yet, but the sky is just lighting up beautifully. And you could see, again, in the distance on the left over here, you could see the rain falling. And over here on the right, you could see rain falling in the distance. I just love being at sea. I love seeing those things because when you live in a big city like New York, you don't see that stuff. Very rarely do you see that kind of sky, that open kind of sky where you could even notice that stuff. So I wanted to highlight that quick. This is the sunrise everybody saw. This was a sunset I took, and again I will upload this to the group. It's just I'll speed it up now so you can see the sun setting. Really, really beautiful. I love sunsets and sunrises. Now, Dirk, this is actually a pretty interesting video because there's a shooting star. I believe this is the video where there's a shooting star, and I was so happy. I thought that I didn't get it because I had the camera set up so low. I thought that I didn't get it when I first filmed this, when I first started reviewing this on my phone. But right about the 1:30 mark, so I'm sitting on my balcony. It's early in the morning. I just went up to get some coffee because the coffee bar wasn't open. I went up to the Garden Cafe and I got some nice 2 cups of coffee for myself. I'm sitting out here in the peace and quiet. All I hear is the sound of the sea, right? The ship moving through the water. And as I'm sitting there, just a minute or so, 2 minutes, a minute and a half in, if you look carefully, I saw a shooting star. I was so excited. It should be here. You'll see it any minute. Look on this section. I hope it's coming across. There it is. Did you see it? So as I was sitting there, I saw that shooting star come in so low, almost like it almost could have hit the ship if we were off to the left. It looks like somebody throwing a football. It was so cool to see this thing coming through the sky.
No, that wasn't.
From space.
That wasn't a New York Giant one because it was on target.
It was so cool to see this thing. I was amazed. I was so excited. I was hoping there was going to be more. So I saw that shooting star come by. It was just amazing. So close to the ship, and in this peaceful, beautiful, peaceful moment. I was so thankful I had my camera on. And folks, if you haven't seen it, look over here. It's going to come. Almost would have hit the ship. There it is. It just came across the sky. It was beautiful. And again, I waited, but no, it wasn't meant to be, Dirk. I only got one glimpse at one of those shooting stars. What else? This was a lightning storm that I captured. I hope it comes through. So we're at sea. And again, it was kind of this humid thing where a storm would blow through, it would be cloudy and rainy all of a sudden, and then it would be beautiful. And you know what? Maybe I'll save this video for another time because I got a couple other ones. I got a really great lightning strike on another video that is not on my computer at the moment. And again, I set up my camera just to get. This is off my balcony, just to get some different cool views as we were sailing, the sights and sounds of being on a cruise ship. So this is from my balcony looking to the forward of the ship, and just a beautiful moment. You know, as you sit out there, and this is actually in the beginning of the cruise. I'm sorry, this is a little bit out of order. I just filmed the ship going by. We were sailing out. This is the sail away party. There's a helicopter.
Come on, here we go again.
And they played New York, New York as we were sailing out of New York City. And I tried to capture it for everyone. There's the helicopter. Not that I'm obsessed with the helicopter. I'm just pointing it out.
Of course you're not obsessed with it.
I guess it was trying to get a shot
the first time you mentioned it.
from behind the statue of the ship. So I thought that was a good shot. And I think I have one other thing. So I think we're going to save this for another time, Dirk. But I want to go through, like, I have a whole bunch of little signs that you come across So like, here's a sink, and again, we could do a whole show on this too. I took a bunch of pictures of these little signs, hand washing only. So this was in the Garden Cafe, and there's a sink there, obviously for hand washing, but they had to put a little sign. Now there's a story behind that sign, don't you think? Like,
well,
what's the story behind that sign?
In some countries, it's a bathroom.
Right. Well, there's a story behind that sign. So, and there's a bunch of them. I have a bunch of these that I'd like to go through one of these days. Maybe during our next show in September. And I believe that's all I got. Let me see. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. But I also wanted to mention, ladies and gentlemen, Randy posted an update. If you haven't seen it, he posted his weekly update of his common questions, cruising Norwegian common questions. So I want to send a shout out to Randy and thank him for putting the work into this document. And if you haven't seen this document, folks, you got to check it out. Randy posts an update every week on this document. It has great information. He calls the document Cruising 101 on Norwegian. A huge amount of information. Download it, print it, whatever you got to do. It's a 21-page document put together by one of our members, Randy. And of course, I just wanted to mention that. And you can find it by looking in the documents section or the files section. So on your phone or on your computer, you go to the files section on the group. It's right here, and you click on the most recent version. It'll come up. You could read it. You could print it. You could do whatever you want. So that is Randy's document. Oh, and I know how I wanted to close this, Dirk. And this was a great thing. And if you've been on a ship, you know you are in Norwegian now. They do this at the end of every cruise. And here's Richard, the cruise director, who I mentioned earlier was polished and professional. And he does the whole... he introduces the different departments. And housekeeping always gets the biggest shout. And they did a great job. You hear the crowd? Housekeeping and everybody going crazy. So they did a great job. I zoom in here in a minute. And there's Elaine right there. That's the general manager. The captain is here. And Dirk, don't you have one of these suits? Are you still with us? Oh, I think Dirk. Did I lose you, Dirk? I think I lost Dirk, folks. But this is the end. You're cruising Norwegian. You are a Norwegian now, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was very long, and we have a lot of material to get to the next time. So I want to wish you well, folks. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you in 2 weeks for our next show. Hope you enjoyed, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.